On your smartphone.
We're just testing the mic. We're gonna be live in just about a few minutes. I say welcome to Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
This is Star Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
I say very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
As we're getting ready for the first broadcast of the year 2023, it's going to be very hot in the studio. But for the time being, I say welcome once again to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK.
I say very good evening and welcome once again. It is the the beautiful Star Radio UK, and I'd like to say good evening to my producer, Mr. Archie Amon, that is working quietly behind the scene. Good evening to Frank. Good evening to all the Star Radio presenter, and it is myself, Olayomi Koiki, and I'll be taking you through the program this evening. There is a lot to discuss. There's a lot to look into as Nigeria is going through a very, very rough time, and the world is quietly also monitoring the situation. Let's go back into Orile Mi. A lot of people are saying 2023, but so many people are saying it is better that we get Nigeria disintegrated. It is for the best interest of Nigerians. Are you in that same view, or are you of the view of the 2023 election? I say a very good evening and welcome. It is Niger Voices. It's just coming up to 6 minutes past 1800 hours, and this is how we're going to be doing it in the studio this evening. I say welcome once again. It is the Wednesday edition. It is 18th of January 2023. Good evening to all our fans around the world and welcome once again. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò, ẹ jẹ́ ká fìdí kalẹ̀ ká gbádùn èdò talẹ́ yìí. Are you of the view it's going to be 2023 election, or the Nigeria that we know is going to dissolve into so many countries? A very good evening to you, Maze Good. Good evening to you, Olajire Koka. Good evening to you, Igbesan Toyin, and welcome once again. It is Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. Good evening to all our fans around the world in Kenya, in South Africa. Good evening to you, Mrs. Folashade Ojo, and welcome. It is Star Radio UK. Tomorrow is the property hour. Make sure you join us on Star Radio UK. But tonight is all about Niger Voices on the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is Star Radio UK. Nigeria has been running for the last 62 years. This election, is it going to be, or are we seeing the final part of Nigeria being buried for those of us that are saying Nigeria is no longer working after the 1914 amalgamation? I welcome you to the program, and it's going to be a call-in show as well. We're going to open the phone line in just about a few minutes, but for now, I'm asking the question. We've seen all the presidential, aspirants, traveling to London. Peter Obi was there on Monday. Kwankwaso is still in London. The INEC chairman is even in London. London has now become the bus stop for where all the politicians in Nigeria have to come down to Chatham House and speak to Chatham House about election in Nigeria. What is your take on that in the first instance? I mean, I'm not sure whether this happens in other African countries where people have to travel to UK and speak to Chatham House about an election holding in their country. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and if you're joining us for the very first time, this is how we do it every Wednesday here in the studio, where we discuss issues in Nigeria, and not just issues in Nigeria. We also have the indigenous people that are also making a lot of complaint. Good evening to you, those of you that have joined us on Instagram. It's a very, very busy line, and I say thank you so much to everyone that have joined us so far on different platforms. As we continue to review Nigeria, my question is, are we seeing the final end of Nigeria in 2023? Is Nigeria truly working? And if Nigeria is working, who is Nigeria working for?
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
We've seen so many atrocities. We've seen so much disunity. But it seems that the politicians in Nigeria are saying that they can still unite us together going into 2023 general election, which is just about 28 days from today. And I'm asking the question, are we seeing the final part of Nigeria, or do you think that there will still be a Nigeria just as 2023 election is getting closer? We've seen our politicians that are saying, we know that there's problem in Nigeria, but we can resolve this problem. These are internal problem. It has been bad leadership. Nothing seems to be working, but we can make it work. Do you believe in your politician that they can make Nigeria to work? Do you think that the politician of today can literally make Nigeria to work? And if you think so, why do you think so? Why do you still think that Nigeria of today will survive? Once again, a very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK. It is, the Wednesday edition. As we say all the time, if you're joining me for the very first time, I will be speaking a lot of my language, which is the Yoruba language. But we're also going to carry you along for those of you that are not Nigerians. We have a lot of our listeners from around the globe that are also following us, from Ghana, from South Africa, from every nooks and corner of the world. And my question tonight is, are we seeing the final part of Nigeria? Nigeria has been running for 108 years. But so many Nigerians are not happy with the current state of things in Nigeria. And they are now speaking one language. And that language is, Nigeria is now currently at the verge of breakup. But so many people say the country cannot break up at this particular time. And the reason for that is, we can still unite. We can bring all the atrocities. We can change the constitution. I'm not sure how all this is going to play out, but what I do know is they are the indigenous people that are now saying that Nigeria have been running in favor of a particular set of people. And the unity that brought us together in 1960 is going away as quickly as possible. What is your take for those of you watching me back home? For those of you that still believe that Nigeria can survive, why do you think so? And what is giving you that assurance that Nigeria can still survive in the midst of all the atrocity going on in Nigeria today? Nigeria is not working. We know that. But so many people are saying the reason why Nigeria is not working is because we have actually lost the plot in the last few years. Election came back after the failure of the former military dictator Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida to hand over, the election that was won in 1993. And that led to violence, that led to so many atrocities that eventually took place. But today, it seems that history is now repeating itself again. And I'm not sure whether a lot of you, understand what is about to play again. Nigerians today are saying, since after the election of the late Chief M.K. Abiola, the election of 1999 till date have not been fair, have not been conducted in a way that an average Nigerian can say categorically that going to the polling unit, which I witnessed in 2019, traveling back to Nigeria, that Nigeria still have one country. But as a lot of people will always say that every countries around the globe have their own different problems, and Nigeria is just going through one out of so many problems that the world is facing today. There's currently, starvation going on in different parts of the globe. Even the United Nation, according to reports some few days ago, also is worried that there's so many Nigerians that will become into that poverty line that Nigeria is currently. As we speak today, Nigeria is the capital poverty of the world, and that is not going to change anytime soon. But hunger is becoming a big obstacle in Nigeria. Do you believe that any of these political parties that are now promising heaven and earth? I was listening to Atiku in Ekiti State saying that he's going to fix the roads. And I'm asking myself, why do we need to get Atiku to fix the road when Ondo State has the largest bitumen in the world? I mean, the second largest bitumen in the world. So why should we wait for Atiku to become the president of Nigeria when we can have access to that same bitumen and get every road in the Yoruba land in the southwest of Nigeria to be fixed? But people are saying that maybe, just maybe, we should give it another time for maybe another 8 years, where the new president will be able to fix some of the problems. But are we sure that we can still fix the problem in Nigeria?
This is Star Radio
Broadcasting worldwide,
UK.
online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Once again, a very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK. It is, the Wednesday edition of Niger Voices, and this is how we do it every Wednesday. It's just coming up to 18 minutes past 6 p.m. local time here in London. It is freezing cold on my way to the studio. I mean, a lot of those at home will probably not understand when we say the weather is cold. Some might think that, it's a joke. But to be honest, the weather is extremely cold for somebody like me. I don't like the British weather, even though I've lived here for the last 2 decades. I'm not sure whether Frank or Archie loves the weather, but for somebody like me, I cannot just stand, the British weather. I'm asking the question tonight. Good evening to you, Mrs. Grace Senior JP, and welcome to the program. It's called Niger Voices, and this is how we do it every Wednesday when I look into the current state of situation in Nigeria. So many African countries might probably not understand what the indigenous people are going through, and that literally means that it might be difficult for them to understand when somebody like myself say Nigeria should break up. Good evening to you, Mrs. Esther. Good evening to you, Temitope Olayomi. Good evening to you, Waris Jinodu. Also say Chatham House, a laughing stock entertainment at British Nigerian company Stooge, subject Bulldog. Why is it that every time election is held in Nigeria, we see our presidential aspirant traveling there? Tinubu was there some few weeks ago, Atiku, Peter Obi, and Kwankwaso today, and also the INEC chairman. What an interesting time to be alive in 2023. 38 days, according to INEC chairman. We now have 38 good days before 2023 election. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think an election will go ahead as planned? Do you think that the government might probably wake up on the election day and say election cannot hold in Nigeria for reason known to them? What is your take for those of you that listen to us every day? What is your view? How do you understand the election in Nigeria? Good evening to you, Cole. Good evening to those of you on the MixLR and all those that are watching us on Star Radio UK in different part of the globe. Once again, my name is Olayomi Koiki, and I am going to be, your host till the end of the program tonight. Once again, I'd like to appreciate my producer that are working tirelessly round the clock. One thing a lot of Nigerians at home think is election will solve the problem. Good evening to those of you that have joined us on the Star Radio YouTube channel. Good evening to you, Shegun Phillips. Shegun Phillips says, I want mad people all over the place. Akitunde Udua, good evening to you. You also say White Lion and the other viewers continue to also make sure that you have a Twitter account. Star Radio UK is on Twitter, and you can also listen to us every Wednesday on Star Radio UK on Twitter platform, or you can also listen to us on all our platforms from around the globe. My name again is Olayomi Koiki, and as we continue to say, Nigeria is going through a distress. There is now a lot of Nigerians that are becoming woken from the last 3 years, especially those campaigning for the right to self-determination, whether you are from the Biafra, whether you are from the Middle Belt. Good evening to you, Prince Adiola, and the rest of you that have joined us so far on all the platforms. Should we remain as Nigerians, there will be a lot of obstacle, because as a Nigerian citizen, there is no value system anymore under the international, engagement. We have a lot of Nigerians in Dubai that are not respected. We have a lot of Nigerians, in India that are asking. That have a lot of, Nigerians in India that are saying to the federal government to bring them back home, but I'm not sure that is going to happen anytime soon. So my question tonight, for those of you that are watching us, is Niger Voices, Nigeria in the next 38 days, election or dissolution? Fanfani gbogbo ẹni tó ń gbọ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé, orí ètò Star Radio UK ní a wà ní àṣálẹ́ níbi tí ètò ti ń lọ ní ti bẹ́ńbẹ́, níbi tí a ti ń gbé yẹ̀wò ṣé kí election kó sì wáyé ni àbí èyí tá a ṣe nínú election Nàìjíríà ó tó gẹ́. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Nàìjíríà ń sọ pé ká lọ dìbò 2023 pé ìyẹn á fún wa nífọ̀kànbalẹ̀. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wò wá nílé, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, àbí èyí tí a ṣe nínú Nàìjíríà ó tó gẹ́? Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ Star Radio UK. Good evening to those of you on the MixLR. Olusegun Oyesanya, good evening to you. Comrade Plan B, good evening to you, and welcome once again to Star Radio UK. Ṣé ká sì máa wà nínú Nàìjíríà ni àbí ìta ṣe nínú Nàìjíríà ó tó gẹ́? Ìyẹn ni ìbéèrè tí à ń gbé yẹ̀wò ìyẹn ní àṣálẹ́ lórí ètò Star Radio UK. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà máa ṣiṣẹ́ pé ká sì fún ní time, nítorí pé àwọn tó wà níbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ọ̀jẹ̀lú ni wọ́n. Àwọn bíi gómìnà yín ní South West, àwọn bíi senator yín, àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe tó ẹ̀kọ́ ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Nàìjíríà fún àwọn aráàlú. Ìbéèrè tèmi lálẹ́ ni pé ṣé kí Nàìjíríà sì máa lọ ni àbí àsìkò tó kí a dáwó fáǹfààní ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá ń wò wá nílé? Mo kí gbogbo olólùfẹ́ Star Radio UK, and I say good evening once again. If you're Biafra, good evening to you. If you're from Oduduwa, good evening to you. If you're watching me from any part of the globe, I say good evening and welcome to the program. My name again is Olayomi Koiki, and this is Niger Voices every Wednesday on Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
All around the world. Are you ready to turn it up?
Are we ready to turn it up? I will be driving you home at exactly just coming up to some few minutes. I say good evening to you. Okay, the program is not clear on Facebook and YouTube. Let's just manage it. If not, you can join Star Radio UK on all our own platforms, and you'll be able to enjoy it from there, Mrs. Adebimpe Awoniyi. If you're having trouble, there's a lot of streaming going on, so you got to understand that there's pressure cooker on some of the device that we are using, but I can assure you that we are live on all our platforms. So if one of the platforms is giving you a bit of concern, you can just go straight to Star Radio UK, where you can enjoy the program, without any interruption at all. But tonight, I'm going to be opening the phone line in just about a few minutes. I'm asking the question. It's very, very beautiful, crisp, clear on the Star Radio UK YouTube channel. For those of you that are concerned, why not join, Star Radio UK, and then you can watch the program without any interruption. The reason why we're here tonight is to ask that question. Nigeria should dissolve, or Nigeria should remain? Should we remain as Nigerians? What guarantee for the Yoruba people, the indigenous people? Maze Gold, good evening, says, I'm not on Star Radio UK watching. Yes, if you're having any problem, you can join Star Radio UK, where it will be much, much clearer and without any interruption. But we are also, testing some of our sister broadcasts so that, when we're in the studio, when we're outside the studio, we can make sure that things are working, as according to plan. So if you're having any problem, please switch quickly to Star Radio UK on Facebook, Star Radio UK on Twitter, Star Radio UK on YouTube, and Star Radio UK on the other platforms as well. Nigeria at the verge of breakup. But before Nigeria breaks up, what are the indices to indicate that a country is already on distress? The economy of Nigeria, according to the federal government today, is saying that Nigeria economy is becoming concerned. And I was actually, listening to, reading through that on the, one of the dailies. When you look at Nigeria, the federal government is also saying that, we are importing crude oil and we don't even have the money. And all these are questions that some of us have been saying, that is Nigeria too big to be controlled from Abuja? But some are saying that maybe not. What is your concern about Nigeria today? The federal government of Nigeria is not even sure of the election, because INEC in Nigeria is also complaining about the logistic. But those that are campaigning for the right to self-determination, those that are saying that our right to self-determination must be respected under the international law, there is a lot of attack going on different INEC premises. And according to the report coming through today, attacks on the Electoral Commission is now sparking concern for the Nigerian poll. Is election going to go ahead as planned in Nigeria? And this is actually coming from one of the mainstream media outside Nigeria that are also monitoring the situation in Nigeria today. Nigerians would like to know whether Nigeria itself will continue to operate after February 2023. And if Nigeria is meant to go ahead, do you think that it can survive? We've been as a Nigerian for 62 years after the independence. But prior to that, in 1914, the British actually amalgamated the southern part of Nigeria with the northern part of Nigeria by Lugard. And today, there is still more problem going ahead in Nigeria. So I'm asking Nigerians today, do you think that we can still have unity among each other? Do you think that our unity is guaranteed? A lot of you that are back home might not understand the current spark of situation in Nigeria outside. But the international community, I'm sure, are preparing a lot of contingency plan, because this election is going to be a lot of situation room that we'll have to be looking into. But like I always say, we have the right to self-determination, and the federal government will respect that right. And the only way the federal government will respect our right is when we continue to speak and ask that right must be respected, regardless of whether the government wants a breakup of Nigeria or not. Because Nigeria today is a failure itself after 62 years. It's not just about no electricity. We are also seeing more Nigerians that are facing a lot of situation back home. And that is why today more Nigerians are looking forward to traveling out of Nigeria for a better opportunity. I'm not sure whether you are one of those, but I can assure you that we have more Nigerians that are saying that Nigeria is not working and I'll probably leave Nigeria for another country. Are you of the same view as well? Are you of the same view that you will leave Nigeria and travel to any other country as long as it's not Nigeria? Why is it that Nigeria has not worked in the last 62 years? Why has Nigeria become a failed nation? For 62 years, more Nigerians cannot guarantee 3 square meal. For 62 years, more Nigerians are complaining, and everybody is now looking for a greener pasture. Everybody wants to travel out of Nigeria so that they can survive. Once again, this is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
It is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And my name is Olayomi Koiki. And I say very good evening to you and welcome once again. More Nigerians have got their PVC. I'm not sure whether the PVC will give a better life in Nigeria, but this is what the politicians are saying, that, get your PVC and we will make sure that when we come into the power, we will solve a lot of the problem that so many of you are facing currently. Once again, a very good evening to so many of you that have joined us on Star Radio UK. Good evening to those of you that are watching us. Somebody say, Koiki, me, I don't already japa. Okay, congratulations if you have left Nigeria. But a lot of us that are concerned about the territory of the Yoruba land, as the federal government have actually opened the porous border and allow influx of terrorists to continue to come into the country. I was on Twitter. How many of you have a Twitter account? If you have a Twitter account, can you go straight to Star Radio UK and let us do a bit of check-in? I'm going to be doing that now. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going on the Star Radio UK. I'm going to find out how many followers we have at the moment on Star Radio UK. We have about 700 and we have 727. So let's take note of that. How many people are going to follow Star Radio UK? And that way you can make sure that when I'm live every Wednesday, you will also be able to enjoy this program without any interruption. We are also live on Twitter on Star Radio UK, and it is Star STARR Radio UK. So I want some of you to go there right now and let's see what you can do in the next 2.5 hours. Maybe we can get it to about 1,000 followers before the end of the program. So we're taking note. So Star Radio UK, as at right now, we have, and Twitter is one of the most powerful tools, like I've told you so many times on our different broadcasts, that it is important that every Yoruba must have a Twitter account. So at the moment, the Twitter handle is Star Radio UK. So it is all one word, and I'm going to be trying to share that as well, for the benefit of those of you. So go on Twitter right now. If you're watching me, let's do that first. Go on Twitter and let's try to also retweet this live broadcast, because this is where we can deliver the message to so many Nigerians that are thinking that Nigeria can survive. I'm not sure how, but maybe because some of those Nigerians have seen their presidential aspirant traveling here to UK, and then that way, believing that because Peter Obi was here in London. So that is Star Radio UK. for those of you, and I've actually pinned it. That's if you're watching us on Star Radio UK on Twitter. Once again, a very good evening and welcome to those of you that have joined us, on the Star Radio UK, comment section as well. Nigeria is at the verge of breakup, and whether we like it or not, Nigeria will break, and a lot of Nigerians will be disappointed. Somebody like me, thank you so much. Matthias have actually also helped us, to pin it down there. And it also indicate that if you're watching us on Star Radio UK, please make sure you follow us on Twitter. It's very, very important. I know we are having, just go straight on the, we will stop the sister broadcast and we will just focus. If you're watching us right now, switch and migrate straight to Star Radio UK platform where we are currently streaming and you can enjoy without any interruption. So if you're watching me right now on the sister broadcast that we are doing currently, switch now straight away to Star Radio UK because we're just testing that. Sometimes we do that so that we can know, the upgrade that we are doing, especially as broadcasting needs a lot of upgrading. So right now, if you're watching us on all the platforms from the software, we will be ending that right now. So join me straight away on the YouTube on Star Radio UK. Once again, a very good evening to those of you that have joined us so far. Quite a lot to discuss tonight, and it's just still coming up to 37 minutes past 6 p.m. local time in London, where we are reviewing. So we're just going to leave alone the Mix LR. Let me know if the audio is still coming out properly for those of you on the Mix LR. But for those that are watching us on all the other platforms, we have now, tell you to migrate straight into the Star Radio UK YouTube channel so that you can enjoy the rest of the program. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and this is how we do it every Wednesday on Star Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK Wednesday edition, 18th day of January 2023. Nigeria in 38 days. Oh, it is coming out fine. Thank you so much, Matthias, for telling me that. So we leave just the Mix LR, but we are now fully on just the Star Radio UK. But for those of you that are watching us on Instagram and the rest of the platform, good evening to you, my brother Gonzalo. Good evening to those of you that have joined me so far. I'm going to open the phone line in just about a few minutes, and the number to call is just the same number for those of you that are familiar with the number. Don't be worried, don't be scared. I know some of you want to speak our local language. There's no problem in that. So if you're calling, if you feel comfortable, speaking our local language, please do not hesitate. Just go ahead and speak it, and that way, there won't be any problem. Okay? Because sometimes, people think, I'm not going to call in because if I program Koiki Glory Star Radio. No, you can call in and you would also get through. Thank you so much. Loud and clear, Olusegun Oyesonya is also telling me that for those of us that are watching us on listening to us on the MixLR. But for now, we are still live and we are saying good evening to those of you that have joined us so far. So the phone number to call in, because this is more like a calling section. I want to get the, and if you're calling especially from Nigeria, important that you put the prefix, which is +44 7404405917. Without that, you cannot get into the UK. And if you want to ring the studio line, you can do so. But the only problem is some of those that are listening to us on my other sister broadcast might not be able to pick what you're saying. So you're better off to just calling through the the WhatsApp line, which is much more easy for everybody due to communication that is becoming cheaper in Europe but expensive in Africa. So if you're watching me from Kenya, from Ghana, from Benin Republic, but before we open the phone line officially, which is going to be within the next few minutes from now, I want us to listen to what Professor Adebanji Akintoye told us just after the Lagos rally. I want us to also remember that the Star Radio UK, we're also live as well on the sister broadcast. So in case you're watching me for the first time, let us remember that what we are doing today is the long run that will benefit a lot of us. Nigeria is going through a lot of problem presently, and I'm not sure whether Nigeria can survive the next 62 years looking at the current spark of things happening presently in Nigeria. But a lot of Nigerians are still saying that we can turn things around when Peter Obi becomes the president. I'm not sure how Peter Obi is going to do so. But before we go further, let us take time and listen to what Professor Adebanji Akintoye told us on the Podium International just after the Lagos State rally that eventually lost of life from the Lagos State governor, which I'm going to be telling you. Let's listen to Professor Adebanji Akintoye. But before that, I just want to set it up properly. In just about a few minutes, he will be coming on, and I want you to listen carefully to what he has to tell us regarding what took place after the Lagos rally. Why is it that Lagos is so concerned that the Yoruba people should hold rally in Lagos State? Should we leave Lagos alone and move to the other state is the question. But I am also saying that the fight for self-determination must continue as election campaign goes on. Atiku was in Ekiti State. I'm not sure anybody was killed. Tinubu was in Kwara State in Ilorin, and I'm not sure anybody was killed. So why is it that there is always problem when the Yorubas that are asking for their right to self-determination? Now let's listen to Professor Adebanji Akintoye.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Ani ka gbọ́ látẹnu yín lórí Lagos rally tá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ parí ní sà. Mo kí yín kú iṣẹ́ náà ni. This is a work in progress. The revolution that we have embarked upon, which is.
I want you to take note of some of the what is coming out from our father. It is still work in progress. For those of you that are asking all the time, Yomi, Koiki Media, Star Radio UK, Niger Voices, what is the way forward with the self-determination? And Professor actually says there, and I quote, it is still work in progress. Let's listen to it more.
Seize our country out of Nigeria. It cannot be an easy revolution. Nobody expects it.
You heard him very well. It is still work in progress. And it is not an easy, revolution. Not an easy revolution. Good evening to my mom. Good evening to my family. Good evening to everyone that is watching us from around the world. But the most important is good evening to the Star Radio UK team. Tomorrow is the property hour. Monday to Sunday, this is where the things goes on. But on a Wednesday, you will find me right here discussing the issue affecting the indigenous people. The right to self-determination is allowed, but it's not an easy task. For those that are saying that, why is it that we have not got our nation? We were promised our nation, and it seems that that nation is not coming true. It will eventually come true, but it is not an easy task. So if anybody is deceiving you, if anybody is making it, giving you the impression that Nigeria is gonna break just like that. Yes, good evening to those of you that have joined us on the Star Radio UK. Apologies to the transmission on the sister broadcast. Like I say, some of the time we have to continue to do upgrade. If not, we would have hiccup problem when we are transmitting from outside the studio. And I welcome every one of you into the broadcast tonight. Let's go back and listen more to what Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, was telling us some 3 days ago.
Àwọn kan tó ń sọ pé a ti ṣe
Yoruba Nation, they are just kidding. They are trivializing it.
So if anybody's giving us the impression that we have declared we've got our nation, it's trivializing. It's an illusion, because Nigeria is not going to break with just some of us thinking that asking for our nation has become like bread and butter. So for those that are in the view that yes, Nigeria is a big elephant, it has to be killed, but it cannot be killed and become, something that will wake up again, because Nigeria is still powerful among so many African countries today. And you will hear that a little bit from what Professor Adebanji Akintoye was telling us. This again is Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I say good evening to those of you. Shafir Muhammad, good evening to you and the rest of you that have joined us. Ajunwale, Ajunwan Kolawole, you say Yoruba Nation now, Yoruba Nation now. And there's no doubt in my mind, that Yoruba Nation is now. Tony Ages, good evening to you. Good evening to those of you, maybe you are also following Davos in Switzerland, where the world leaders and different business entrepreneurs are currently engaging in how the economy of the world will continue. But the economic situation in Nigeria is going down, and it's going down at a very, very fast pace. Good evening to you, Saeed Abolari. Good evening to you, Amos Akishola Okiki. Good evening to you and welcome to live broadcast on Star Radio UK. Let's go back and listen at exactly 1847. Good evening to you, Gazalo. You say, mad people all over the place. Keep up the great work, Koiki. We were told that the Yoruba Nation was declared in November, and I want you to follow this journey. We were told, by one of those also campaigning for the right to self-determination. And we were told that Yoruba country has already emerged out of Nigeria. I'm not sure whether that is completely true, because Nigeria is still running as a country, even though, they are coming up with all different excuses that the country was declared in November last year, 2022. But we were also told that those other parts that were trying and pushing to also make sure that the Yoruba people exit out of Nigeria are taking us into the election 2023. But even though Nigeria is still running as a country, but a lot of Yoruba people have already believed that we are already in a new country. And I'm asking how? Because Nigeria is still operating. People are still spending the Nigerian currency. A lot of Nigerians are still traveling with the Nigerian passport. There's still the Nigerian flag across every part of Nigeria today. So the question I'm asking is, how do you then say that you have declared a country and the country is still operating? From those that have declared their country out of countries, the first thing is the flag of that previous country must come down and allow the flag of the new country to pop up. But so many Yorubas are now saying that we have a nation of our own, and that literally means that we do not need to push more to break Nigeria, because what we are doing now is we will continue with the paperwork. And for those of us that are somebody like me that have lived in the country like UK, that have made Nigeria what it is today, is asking the question, what kind of relationship are we then going to have? Should we say we have a country already? Because if we have a country already, I would expect that we should start talking to country like, Turkey, that already held one of our, brother in Turkey for his right, asking for one thing and one thing alone, asking for the right to self-determination. For whatever has happened to our brother in Turkey for going into how many months now, I think that if the Yoruba Nation as a country is already existing, we should use every resources that we have to get Marcus Babatunde Ogunjimi, known as Ijile Marcus on the social media, we should use our new country to speak to Turkey to help us release Ijile Marcos. Good evening to you, my sister, my auntie, Gbemileke. But to be honest with ourselves, even if we say we have a country, Nigeria is still operating. And this is why we now have division in the struggle to Yoruba Nation. But that is not holding us back, because as you heard there from our father, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, he says, and I quote, it is still work in progress. Because if you have a country, the first thing you do is you will have cordial relationship with the people across the globe. I'm talking about countries. So already, if the Yoruba Nation has become a country, the first country we should speak to is Turkey, and let them help us to release our brother Ijile Marcos, also known as Marcos Babatunde Ogunjimi, that have been arrested for a crime that we don't know, and up till today. And I believe I have an update message. Let me see if I can get that message from the family, the closest person, to Ijile Marcos, because I didn't read the message on my way in, but I sent a message yesterday trying to find out why Ijile Marcos is still being, let me get that right again. Marcos Babatunde Ogunjimi, known as Ijile Marcos on Facebook, known as Ijile Marcos on YouTube, and also working tirelessly in the last 3 years to the right of the Yoruba people to self-determination. But today is being held in Turkey, and I would have expected that since we have a country already, there should be an engagement. Maybe that is going on, I don't know. But what Professor Adebanji Akintoye is trying to explain to us is that if anybody says, okay, I can tell you as at today at exactly 12:33 p.m., the message from the closest person to our brother, our own father and uncle, Marcos Babatunde Ogunjimi, according to the WhatsApp message that was sent to me, is that, good afternoon, sir. I saw your message because I was asking for update yesterday. Sorry for the late response. Not at all, sir. So if anybody that is asking what is going on with the case of Ijile Marcos, a Yoruba man that is being held in Turkey, there is no update as I speak to you right now. But that literally means that the nation that we have been told that we have got is still not active. Maybe outside, but maybe it is active inside Nigeria. So if anybody is saying that we have a country already, maybe that country is operating in the Yoruba land, but maybe not yet outside. But let's go back and listen to what Professor Adebanji Akintoye was telling us some 3 days ago, just after the Lagos State rally. But the question tonight is, 38 days as election is getting closer, are we saying that the country should dissolve? Election should hold. Some of us, like myself, will never love to have an election again in Nigeria for so many reasons. For those of you that are not from Nigeria, you might not understand. They are the indigenous people known as the Yorubas. We have the indigenous people known as the Igbo. We have the indigenous people known as the Hausa, plus another 277 ethnic groups in Nigeria today that makes up 206 million population. But the Yoruba is making up around 80 to 60 million. But what the British did in 1914 was a very cunning one by merging us together and then calling us Nigeria. So today, if you are one of those that is watching us in any African country and you are hearing that there are some indigenous people, we are not the secessionists as the federal government is portraying it. Even Kola Abiola, that his father was killed by the same federal government of Nigeria after winning the most freest election, is also saying that he will make sure that when he becomes the president, because Kola Abiola, for those of you that are not familiar with Nigeria, is the first son of the late Chief MK Abiola that was killed by the federal government of Nigeria, after he won the election and he declared himself an Ekwetedo, and the rest is history. He was eventually killed, in Abuja, during the negotiation to get him released. But the son is also trying to contest as an election as the presidential candidate for this 2023 election. He's now saying that when he becomes the president, he's not going to get any vote anyway, because he's a proxy to somebody like Tinubu or probably Atiku. So he's working against one of them. We don't know which one, because we don't have the evidence. But these are the way politicians that comes out and say we want to contest for election, because nobody's going to vote for him even in his own hometown in Abeokuta, where his father resides from. Not to talk about in his own local government, in wherever he's living, even if he's living in Abuja. But he's now saying that when he becomes the president, I'm talking about Kola Abiola, according to the report that came through the wire today. Kola Abiola is saying that when he becomes the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he will make sure that he deals with the Yoruba people and likewise the Biafra people and the Boko Haram. So he's actually putting us in the same bracket like the Boko Haram. Imagine Kola Abiola is putting us in the same bracket. And this is why we are saying that the Nigeria we know is no longer functioning. The Nigeria we know is no longer working. But there are so many Nigerians that they are so much excited with their PVC, hoping that they will use their PVC to determine, this is what Kola Abiola say in one of the, the mainstream media, the newspaper back home today. I will not accept action capable of threatening Nigerian unity. And I'm asking Kola Abiola, the late son of Chief MK Abiola, that what is the unity of Nigeria that killed your father is the question I'm asking him. Because if there was a unity in Nigeria, your father should have been the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1993. But he was killed by one particular ethnic group known as the Fulanis. But today, in 2023, Kola Abiola is now saying that he would not allow anybody to threaten the unity of one Nigeria. I told you that it's going to be the very first broadcast of the Niger Voices, and it's going to be extremely hot tonight. Wow, what an interesting time to be alive as a Yoruba man, not as Nigeria that we were told we are, because the Yoruba kingdom is much bigger in terms of the people, in terms of the kingdom. It is a kingdom that was brought down by the British Empire during the 1900s. And Kola Abiola, the son of the late Chief MK Abiola, says, and I quote, in the dailies today, I will not accept action capable of threatening Nigerian unity. And I'm asking Kola Abiola tonight, what is the unity of Nigeria in the first place? If anybody can get through to Kola Abiola, can we ask Kola Abiola that what is the unity? Because Kola Abiola is saying, and I quote, that the unity of Nigeria is under a threat, and when he becomes the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he would not allow the unity of Nigeria to be broken. And I'm asking Kola Abiola that, why was your father killed then in 1998? In 1998. But before then, your father won the freest fair election in 1993. But the Fulanis that are controlling Nigeria under the military dictator of Nigeria, President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, refused to give your father, your late dad, the opportunity to become a president to be. So in 2023, Kola Abiola is now telling the Yoruba people, the Igbo people, and also putting us in the same bracket as the Boko Haram, that it would deal with every single one of us. So let us ask Kola Abiola that What then makes him think that there is unity in Nigeria today? This is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is coming up to exactly 7 p.m. local time in London. And likewise, it is the first edition of Niger Voices on Star Radio UK, 18th of January 2023. Let me open the phone line. Fáfáni gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ bá fẹ́ pè wá. Ọ̀rọ̀ wà lálẹ́ yìí tí a fẹ́ gbà lẹ́nu yín, a dẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ó tutù púpọ̀. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ pè sórí ètò títa lẹ́yìn, orí nọ́mbà ti studio tẹ́ máa fi ń bá wa sọ̀rọ̀, òun náà lẹ máa fi get wa ní àṣálẹ́ yìí. Nọ́mbà náà òun ni nọ́mbà kan péré tí a máa gbé. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá pè kò ń ṣe dandan ní kẹ́ sọ èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, nítorí pé kó má máa dẹ́rù bá yín pé tẹ́ bá ti pè èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ni a máa fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ sọ. If you want to speak in English, you are more than welcome. And if you want to speak in our not a local language, the Yoruba language is one of the most oldest language that must be respected under the international law, under the international community. But because we have been merged with the Nigeria today, it has literally given us a backward situation. And we must now say to everybody, Nigeria or dissolution or election. We have our first caller, and let's go straight without wasting. And if you're watching us, please mute the background. I cannot say more than that. You are now on the Star Radio UK. Can you mute the background?
So sorry, sir.
You are
sorry about that. Good evening, sir.
You are live with us. Okay, I can see that there's a little one there, but that's fine. We can manage that. Go ahead straight away and let's hear from you. If you want to speak in English, you're welcome. And if you want to speak in our beautiful language, you are more than welcome. What is your take so far?
I would like to speak in my beautiful language, Yoruba, please.
Ẹja gbọ́n tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa sọ ẹgbọ́n sókè.
Ṣàtìrí Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá tó ń sọ tó ń jambla tẹnu tó ń jábọ̀ size. Orí òpè.
Okay.
It's very crazy.
Okay.
Sorry for that words.
Okay.
Orí òpè rárá.
Okay.
Tó bá jẹ́ pé òun mọ ikú tó pa bàbá ẹ̀ ni. Tó bá jẹ́ pé òun mọ àwọn tó wà nídìí ikú bàbá ẹ̀. Kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ statement yẹn jáde.
Okay.
So it's so stupid in that aspect. They can play a second.
Okay.
Ṣàtìrí election tó ń bọ̀.
Okay.
But first of all, our people here wọ́n mọ ibi tí Nigeria ń lọ.
Good evening to my beautiful mother. Okay.
Wípé kò lè last more than let's say the next 2 or 3 months. But they are just running up and down láti keep poor to their own selfish interest. Ṣebí okay, Peter Obi wá sí London, Tinubu wá sí London,
Kwankwaso Atiku, even the INEC chairman was in London as well. What an interesting time to be alive.
Can you imagine? Dr. Oloshe, our people, ṣé wọ́n fẹ́ sọ wípé wọ́n rí bí London ṣe rí ni?
Okay.
Ṣé wọ́n fẹ́ sọ wípé wọ́n rí bí àwọn Nàìjíríà ṣe ń sọ́fà níbí báyìí?
Okay.
Ṣé táwọn bá fẹ́ ṣe election ṣé àwọn òyìnbó ṣé àwọn máa ń pe òyìnbó kọ́ wá máa ṣe irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà?
Okay.
Kọ́ dá wọn lò àbí kọ́ má dá wọn lò? Ṣàtìrí all this thing that is happening, rally, whatever tó ń tó wọn yẹn. Ẹ mọ̀, ó dàbí Nàìjíríà kò ti pẹ́ ó kò fẹ́ lọ wú jáde ibi tó wà náà. Wọ́n fẹ́ revive it, which is not possible.
Okay.
Possible rara.
Okay.
So, and at this point, I think the best thing is all of them to just come together around the table. Dissolve country amicably. If otherwise. Okay.
Kẹ́tọ́ lọ àwọn ECOWAS wọ́n náà wà concerned. This is a report that came out a few days ago, I believe yesterday in Jos. And I picked that up, today. ECOWAS is concerned with election in Nigeria. If it becomes really, I want to try and get the right word, how it was put out in the statement that was released. I'm going to cut it. But in terms of election in Nigeria, if it goes violent, a lot of African countries will not be able to cope. Kí lẹ rí sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn?
Ṣètìrí àwọn náà mọ ibi tó ń lọ níwọ̀n kan fẹ́ go straight to the point.
Okay.
Wọ́n mọ ibi tí wọ́n ń lọ. Mr. Koiki, ẹ má jẹ́ ká pa irọ́ tàn ara wa. This coming election will be so bloody.
Wow, you're making us to be scared now.
No, they shouldn't be. So for us not to be scared,
okay,
I think table and let us settle this thing amicably. Let everybody go
without
if
any problem.
Survive the country. Mr. Koiki. There will be bloodshed.
So why is the international community not looking at, I mean, like I said, I don't want to mention the name of the media, but this is an international media, but we don't have to mention. It says, and I quote, attacks on electoral commission is now sparking concern for the Nigerian poll. Experts say the new wave of attack takes insecurity in Nigeria into uncharted territory ahead of the election. 38 days before the election, Star Radio UK, kílẹ̀ yín rò pé ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan. Ṣé kí international community tètè dá sí ní àbí kákọ̀ máa wòran bẹ́ẹ̀? Àti pé ìmọ̀ràn wo lẹ fẹ́ fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń béèrè fún their right to self-determination ká tó gba the next caller because ní ọjọ́ púpọ̀.
Ṣé etí àwọn international community etí wọn ò di wọn ò lè sọ wípé wọn gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. Bò tí wọ́n ní wọ́n máa ń pọ̀ wípé má bínú sá wọ́n ní tó bá dé ojú ṣíṣú fún wàhálà. So what the international community are doing is that tí ò bá ìtì di violent wọn ò ní dá sí. Because of their own selfish interest. Wọ́n wò pé ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣì máa wò ná tí election ẹ̀ bá hold tó bá sọ̀ sí tí kò bá sí violent then they continue shopping from the pot. But tó bá di violent ìgbẹ́ kókó ló mọ́ wá dá sí. That is about that. Then the second one àwọn Yorùbá ni mo fẹ́ gbà lámọ̀ràn. Ṣàtìrí àwọn táwọn pàlà abroad though some of us we are okay and some of us are not okay. But ṣàtìrí àwọn tí wọ́n wà okay yẹn. I'm talking to Nigerians, Yoruba that are in that country. Àwọn tí wọ́n wà okay yẹn, honestly speaking, ajá wọn ó bẹ́tà jù wọn lọ kọ́ máa kọ́ lẹ́ tí wọ́n lè kọ́ gbọ́. Ajá ẹni tí ó wà okay ní abroad, ó bẹ́tà jù àwọn tó wà ní Nigeria. So the best thing, because the man draw the anybody, everybody should just come out. Orally, the next line of action will be taken if they come out and do rally, Yoruba Nation rally, everybody wanna go. Simple. And I know, and I'm very sure that the Biafran people are doing the same thing. So so it is better for all of them to come out and they should take this. If Nigeria want to work, the next word. Next life.
Let's take the next caller, and that is our first caller. Lè dá sí ẹ má tijú bó jẹ́ èdè náà lẹ fẹ́ sọ ẹ ní right láti sọ èdè yẹn ẹ má tijú ẹ pè wọlé ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ yín ẹ kàn bá wa ṣe ní kíákíá torí àsìkò ni. Hello caller orí ètò Naija Voices ní àjọ wa ẹ bá wa gbé ohùn sókè. Okay, let's give him time. He's coming from Nigeria, that caller, and we should just... Hello, caller. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè. Mute, then go in mute yẹn, please. Àti ní tẹ́ bá ti ń pè, àti train ara wa lórí ti the other platform. Tẹ́ bá ti ń pè, ẹ máa bá mute the other one. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè à ń gbọ́ yín.
Hello, Kalesa.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò.
Yes, sir. Mo fẹ́ dá sí ètò nínú sir.
Ẹ ti wà lórí ẹ̀ bá a ṣe ní kọ́mọkọ́mọ ìsásíkò.
Yes, sir. Nípa ọ̀rọ̀ Yoruba Nation, Ọlọ́run á fún wa ṣe ẹ̀dẹ̀kúṣẹ́, Ọlọ́run ràn yín lọ́wọ́.
Àmín.
So nípa because as for me, I'm not too much happy at all concerning what is happening in Yoruba, in our Yoruba Nation.
Okay.
Bá a ṣe bí ìjà ṣe ń lọ lọ́tún, ó ṣe ń lọ lọ́sì.
Okay.
And as for me, bó ṣe ń lọ yìí kò at least kò fún wa ní way forward. So and mostly nípa election tó fẹ́ ṣe now any election kù at least
38 days. 38 days.
Yes, okay. 38 days. Ṣé bí èmi ṣe rò ó lórí ó ní nǹkan tí bàbá wa Akíntóyè ní pé ká máa sọ lórí social media.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
And as for me, I can even call you in a private way because nǹkan tó ní pé ká máa sọ lórí social media yẹn we Yoruba are still set from my own experience are still set lójú tèmi láti gba Yoruba Nation. I'm sorry to say that.
Okay.
Ṣé really ní lórí social media ó ní kankan tí mo rí ní Biafra.
Okay.
Ó ní máa kan àti ó gbé mọ́tò ó ń lọ ní village kan ní is either Igbo land either Imo state.
Okay.
àwọn Biafra wọ́n stop ẹ̀ ó wọ aṣọ ó wọ uniform Obi that is Labour Party uniform lọ́wọ́ ó dẹ̀ dé káàbù tó ń dẹ̀ ya Obi sí lára. àwọn boys yẹn wọ́n stop ẹ̀ wọ́n bèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé kí ni ta ló wà láṣọ ẹ̀ kò tẹ́ lé sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n ní ṣé Obi ni ó ní yes wọ́n bèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé kí ni nǹkan tí ó ti benefit látọ̀dọ̀ Obi ó ní kò sí. Ibi tó wà yẹn mo ṣàmọ́ believe wípé with one thing or the other must be alive ẹ̀ but mọ́tò ẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n condemn ẹ̀. Tó ti yé báyìí. Èmi máa ń sọ from now till tomorrow ní Igbo land kò sí election but in Yoruba land tó bá lẹ́yìn ọ̀dọ́ fún 2000
but tí ẹ ní sùúrù torí àsìkò wa and mo fẹ́ divert too much tí situation tó bá ń lọ nílẹ̀ Igbo tí kò sí election ó máa ní ripple effect náà dé sálẹ̀ there's no way it's going to not be ẹ máa ká tanra wa because the uncertainty tó bá ń lọ nílẹ̀ Igbo ó máa ní ripple effect dé sálẹ̀ and everybody knows that torí àsìkò ni so I'm gonna let you go we can always discuss further into that ẹ má bínú I understand a lot of us expect everything to be said on the live stream and we cannot but in tí mo kàn lè sọ ni pé as 38 days is pushing towards the election there's a lot on the table and the table that we are asking each other right now is Nigeria going to survive the next 38 days? And if it does survive the next 38 days, what is the guarantee? And that is why we are saying Nigeria in the next 38 days on Naija Voices, election or dissolution. The first caller was brief and he says, and I quote, let us have the election not come true. Let us dissolve Nigeria peacefully and let everybody go their separate ways. But do you think such would happen? Òun ìbéèrè tí mò ń bi wá ǹjẹ́ ó máa wáyé pé kí election kí kò ní wáyé and they would let us dissolve Nigeria for those of us. Let's go back and listen more to what Professor Adebanji Akintoye was saying aftermath of the post-mortem of the Lagos rally.
They are trivializing it and they have become an obstacle. Seriously.
Okay, check. Hello, caller. Ẹ bá mute the background. Ṣé fẹ́ dá sórí ètò ni?
Yeah, mo fẹ́ dá sí.
Okay, all right. Ẹ gbóhùn sókè.
Yeah, quick one, yeah. Gbogbo international community tí tẹ̀ sọ, wọ́n mọ everything tó ń lọ ní Nàìjíríà bọ̀ torí interest more, yeah. Torí ẹni wọ́n fẹ́ gbà fún Yoruba Nation.
Okay.
Yoruba Nation is one of the strongest in the world. So one more gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn, war is all planned. Wọ́n fẹ́ ká wa jáde àti wọ́n fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ wá.
Okay.
Ṣé nǹkan tí mo sọ yé yín?
Okay. Yeah.
Wọ́n fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ wá. And gbogbo nǹkan tèmi dẹ̀ ti rí kò sí ni tọ́lọ́n bá ṣeré àwọn ẹ̀dá ni pé wọ́n ṣe bí ó ti yé yín.
Okay.
Bọ̀ ibi tó máa já sí ibi tọ́rọ̀ yìí máa já sí tó yẹn lọ yìí ó máa fọ́ ni gbogbo ẹ̀ máa fọ́ Nàìjíríà máa fọ́ pátápátá.
Okay.
Tẹ́ńpẹ́ kò sí nǹkan kan tó lè ṣe sí ó máa fọ́ ẹ̀ tó bá dẹ̀ ti fọ́ gbogbo wọn pátápátá gbogbo ìlú pátápátá ló máa fìlì ẹ̀ ó máa fìlì ẹ̀ cause kò ní sí nǹkan kan tó máa fẹ́ wá gbà nínú ìlú wa mọ́ cause tá bá ti kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà that is it nǹkan táwọn fight fún ni ó fẹ́ ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà cause ó mọ ìwà wa ọmọ Yorùbá ó mọ tá a ṣe jẹ́ ó ti yé yín.
Okay.
So gbogbo nípé wọ́n fẹ́ dá sí yẹn irọ́ ni ẹ máa wò wọ́n ràn ṣé ẹ̀dá kan wà láyé yìí tọ́lọ́ ò mọ̀ pa ẹni.
Okay.
Kò sí ìrìn àjò ẹ̀dá láyé yìí tọ́lọ́ ò mọ̀ pa ẹ̀ so tọ́lọ́ ṣe ni ó ṣe máa rí leléyìí. Kí lẹ rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá ọmọ bàbá wa olóògbé late chief MK Abíọ́lá tó sọ pé the unity of one Nigeria òun ò ní àlá kẹ́ni kankan kó break ẹ̀ kí lẹ rí sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kẹ́ tó máa lọ. Èèyàn mọ nǹkan tó ń sọ ni.
Okay.
Èèyàn mọ nǹkan tó ń sọ.
Kò mọ tó ń sọ. Ṣọ́mọ kékeré ni tí kò fi mọ tó ń sọ. Àbó ó ti gbàgbé tí wọ́n tó pa bàbá ẹ̀.
Tí orí ẹ̀ bá pé kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
Okay.
Tí orí ẹ̀ bá pé kò ní sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
Okay.
Ìlú tẹ́ ń pé wọ́n ti pa bàbá ẹ̀. Bàbá ẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ kó di president.
Bí ó ti gbàgbé.
Olùgbàgbé nǹkan téèyàn bá máa jẹ kò ní jẹ́ kó gbọ́n. Bí ó ti wà lọ́ndà gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì kan tó ń rí nǹkan kan tó ń rí tọrọ pọ̀.
Okay.
So ó ti sọ pọ́lú ẹnu. Ó ti yẹ yín. So ìyẹn torí ẹ̀mí mi ìfẹ́ sọ̀tọ̀ lórí ìyẹn cause everybody gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá ṣe ní ayé yìí àkọsílẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀.
Oda, ẹ ṣé gan bàbá wa. Thank you so much. To that sikoni. And again, for those that probably did not understand what the caller was saying, is just again giving us a brief about this country called Nigeria, but it's not working for the indigenous people. We have the next caller. This is a live transmission on Naija Voices. It is now coming up to 60 minutes past 7 p.m. or we can say 60 minutes past 1900 hours. The next caller, hello caller, you're live on Naija Voices. Nigeria in 38 days, election or dissolution. Caller Abiola, the rally in Lagos, mixed marks. Hello caller, you're live. Eto alive. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa.
Kújọ́ mẹ́ta o.
Ọjọ́ kan pẹ̀lú.
Ẹ̀kúṣọ́lá adúró tì mí o.
Adúró ti gbogbo wa.
Adúró ti dílé adúró tó mọ ẹyin iṣẹ́ yín ò ní dàrú pẹ̀lú ògbólọ́mọ.
Àmín.
Kíákíá nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ti Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá.
Okay.
Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa ni. Tí ó torí pé bí ń jẹ́ Abíọ́lá.
Okay.
Ṣé yóò ti fi hàn kó máa lò ní ṣé dandan ni kó jẹ́ pé nítorí èèyàn bá ń jókòó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó bíyàn ni. Tí ọmọ kọ̀ọ̀kan máa gbádùn wà tó wù ú. Tí bàbá ẹ̀ lò tí ó wà ní detention for good many years. At the end of the day wọ́n pa á nípa ìpinnu fọ̀ṣù tóun bá jọ mọ ọkọ ni tóun jọ máa lè ní. Even ìwúṣẹ́ tí ìyá onítìrí gbé dání tí ò wá mú làákà ìdání ìgbàwó bàbá ẹ̀ kò ju èyí tóun tí bàbá ẹ̀ wá bí tó já kọ́ bí tó jẹ́ pé òun èèyàn rí structure bàbá ẹ̀ lára ẹ̀. Tóun ti proof irú èèyàn tó wù pẹ́. Because ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ yẹn àti gbogbo bàbá olóyè Ìgbòho àti Nnamdi Kanu ọyẹ kí wọ́n lè pa wọ́n ni. Nígbà tí wọ́n pa bàbá ẹ̀ kí lórí ṣe ti. Ọmọ àlè làwọn yẹn so ẹ má jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n kó tiẹ̀ nítumọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan sí wa.
Just to remind a lot of us, MK Abiola was killed on the 7th of July 1998 in Abuja. It was a Social Democratic Party, SDP. The children are called Abiola, Afsat Abiola, Abdul Mumini Abiola, and more. But eventually, it was a president that was murdered in Abuja. Hello, caller. So, can go and see.
Nàìjíríà ní tí bàbá ẹ̀ tó yẹn tó dẹ̀ rí iṣẹ́ biribiri tí bàbá ẹ̀ ti ṣe tó nílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ṣé tí bàbá ẹ̀ bá jẹ́ pírẹ́sidẹ̀ntì nígbà yẹn tó wà láyé lẹ́yìn ni ṣé òun máa wà ní lẹ́vù tó ń wà yẹn. Ọmọ àlè yẹn bàbá ẹ̀ fún àṣẹ.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Compared to Fọláwíyọ́.
Okay.
Ṣé báwọn ọmọ Fọláwíyọ́ ṣe rí òwúrí yẹn kọ́ máa wù wá lọ Ọlọ́run á sọ gbogbo wọn lẹ́sọ̀ bó ṣe dá. So èyí tó fẹ́ Ọlọ́run á sọ fún ní kálukú tó wà wá kí yín ẹ̀kú ṣe Ọlọ́run á mú wa délẹ̀ lórí.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni.
Bí fọ́ọ̀tọ̀ la ṣe sọ pé Nàìjíríà ò lè láti ju 3 months lọ. Ohun tó ti wọ̀n sí gbogbo ayé nìyẹn.
Ẹ ṣé gan bàbá wa.
Ohun tí ó dá gbogbo ẹ̀rú pé jẹ́ pé wàhálà náà ìṣe yóò tẹ̀ ní ìgbẹ́ títí mọ́. Òun ló wà lẹ́yìn.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni. This is Star Radio UK. It is the finest. How many of you have now gone to the Star Radio UK Twitter handle and also follow? Good evening to you, Olamilekan. At the moment, the number has gone up from 727 to 732. Are we saying that none of us have a Twitter account? Wow. I thought everybody have a Twitter account. Or are we struggling to get the Star Radio UK Twitter handle? It is spelled as STARRADIOUK. This is how you would notice when I'm live every Wednesday. For those of you that are watching us on all the platforms, good evening to you. Ari Di Nicola, according to one of my auntie there, Bimileke. So that is it there. For those of you that would like to know the Star Radio UK handle, let us go and follow. Otobade Kunle says, believe me, we're just using really to prepare our people for what is coming. I know the truth if we want to exit Nigeria. Good evening to you once again, to my beautiful mother. Good evening to those of you that have joined us. Yoruba Nation continue, as we say, and let's hear more from what Professor Adebanji Akintoye was telling us before we take more calls. If you'd like to call in, the number will be +44 7404405917. Let's go back and listen quickly to what the Professor Akintoye actually told us. After the election, after the rally, rather. Let's go back and listen more to what Professor Akintoye actually told us. Once again, a very good evening. Let's go back to that.
Send money internationally with low fees.
No, it's not that. Let's just let that go through. You send money through send waves if you want to do so, and you can use Star Radio UK. Good evening once again. Let's hear more from Baba.
But obstacle or not obstacle, the important thing is the heart of the people who are in the struggle. As long as you are determined to go on, go on. There will be times of failure, there will be times of success. But as Winston Churchill said, if you are engaged in a major struggle for your people, to protect your people, prevent them from being destroyed, and to lift them up in the world, if you are engaged in that kind of struggle, always remember that you will encounter failure, you will also encounter success along the way. Do not over-assess either success or failure. Because the success, when it comes, is not final. And the failure, when it comes, is not fatal. That's it. Don't stand rejoicing if success comes your way. Go on walking towards your goal. If failure comes, don't stand there moping about it. Go on. And if you find at any time that you are going through fire, just keep going.
I love that part that Baba said, that even if you see fire, you just have to keep going. And ọ̀rọ̀ gbìyànjú nìyẹn fún gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà nílé tí ó dàbí ìgbà tí ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì ṣe dé fún wa lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n pa àwọn ọmọ wa ní Lagos rally. Baba sọ pé if you see the fire, you just keep going, because the end part of that fire, there will be success. Let's hear more from Baba Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Nation struggle.
How to win a revolution. That's how to win the kind of struggle that we're engaged in. There are enemies from outside.
I want us to take note of Ibiti Baba Tife Sorry. Good evening to you, Rafiu, on the Instagram, and those of you that are listening to us, and those that are also putting your comment there. I will read it out if I find your comment on the Mixlr. Good evening, Alawu Baba. You also say Kola Biola brain is faulty. You also say Kola Biola is a bastard. Wow. Olusegun Onosa say is very loud and clear. Keep your comment coming. I will be reading more of your comment as well on the Mixlr. Keep your comment coming as well on all the platforms. I will be reading them out as I come through as well. Mayo was special. Oyenuga say forget about Kola forget about Kola, and I'm not too sure what you put next. Let's hear more from Baba. Baba is encouraging us. The kind of struggle that we are going through right now, let us remember that it is not just the Western power that does not want Nigeria to break. Let's hear what Baba has to tell us here.
The most powerful country in Africa is working against us.
Did you hear that? Baba says that the most powerful country in Africa is also against us. So if anybody thinks that the Yoruba Nation struggle is not yet moving forward, is work in progress, but people that are not looking at the Nigeria as a powerful country itself that has run for 62 years, and we are trying to bring it down, it's going to be a lot of work, and the work is still in progress. This is Star Radio UK. This is how we do it every Wednesday on Niger Voices.
All around the world.
This is Star Radio UK.
It is Star Radio UK. Let's go back again to Professor Adebanji Akintoye.
Nigeria doesn't want to break up, although it no longer exists in reality. The people hold the powers of state.
Thank you so much. Ajani Ajala says, no looking back, no retreat, no surrender. Yoruba Nation is the only way solution. George says, Ori wọn ti kọ́pẹ́, let them be against us. Àwọn alálẹ̀ ondro de wọn. I love that one. Àwọn alálẹ̀.
Think that they have a duty to preserve Nigeria, whereas the right thing they should be doing now is to find out how Nigeria can dissolve peacefully. Baba
is saying that the right thing that every country around the globe should be doing now is how to dissolve Nigeria and don't allow any war. Don't allow, violence to start before you get involved. Don't allow massacre as it has been done during the Biafra war, that over 5 million innocent people were killed by the federal government of Nigeria. And likewise, in support then was the British government during the era.
But they will not think like that, especially, I repeat, especially because they are Fulani. And they think now that they are on the way to conquering Nigeria. They are calling millions of their Fulani men from all over West Africa. They are engaging international terrorist organizations.
And Nigeria still remain a terrorist country. I'll be telling you what Pope was actually saying today. I'm talking about Pope. You all know Pope Francis. Okay, this is the message that came from Pope Francis. Today while I was on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, I can't help you. You need that Twitter account so that you can help to retweet. You can help to put a post there. Pope Francis today was also talking about the atrocity, the carnage of the terrorism going on in Nigeria. And let me quickly bring that up for those that are following us on the platform. I'm talking about Pope. How many people know Pope? Pope Francis. 1 minute. Let's go back and listen to Baba while I get that ready for us in just about a few minutes.
They are stealing large amounts of money from the Nigerian treasury to fight the war in order to conquer all the non-Fulani peoples of Nigeria. So you think that is going to be easy? It's not going to be easy. So we must be ready to bear failure and bear success and move on. I repeat what Churchill said. If success comes your way, thank God for it, and then go on doing what you are doing, because that success is not likely to be final. If failure comes, don't stand.
Good evening to you, Mrs. Modupe Lawa. When the youth ask for answers, they kill them. The Yoruba asks for freedom, they kill them. When is it going to stop? It is never going to stop. But we must keep moving in failure and success. This is Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Nation struggle, that is speaking to us right there. And I guess I picked up the Pope message earlier, and I believe I must have lost it again. I'm talking about the Pope. Everybody knows the Pope, right? Okay. I think let's get it together now. Yes, this is what Pope was saying today about the death of a Christian in Nigeria. There's so much killing going on in Nigeria that even some of us will probably not even remember the attack. So about 7 hours ago, Pope Francis says, and I quote, "I ask all of you to join me in prayer for Father Isaac Achi," not our own Achi, of the Diocese of Minna in the northern part of Nigeria, who was killed on Sunday in an attack on his rectory. So many Christians continue to be target of violence by the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria. And this is what Baba Kintoye was trying to explain to us in this audio that we are listening to.
They are moping. Recognize that you have failed and move on and recalibrate.
I love that word again, recalibrate. Sometimes our phone get freeze. So when your phone get freeze, what do? Do you throw it away, or do you restart it? Do you try to make it work? Sometimes we have to recalibrate again, which is exactly what Professor Adebanji was telling us there. Regardless of what happened in Lagos State rally, the struggle for Yoruba Nation continue. Dissolution or election? Niger Voices on Star Radio UK.
Neither success is not final. Failure is not fatal. If you are going through fire, just go on through the fire. That's all. That's all I have to say to you, Ekushena. God be with you.
And we'll have to say kudos to YSDM for the great job done during the Lagos Super Rally. Money was spent, logistics was put together. Let us continue to support YSDM by going on their website at www.ysdm.org, and that way you can contribute your own little to make it work. You can watch the full clips of those interview that was granted at Podium International on YouTube, and then you can listen to all the other, the finance, the logistics, different people spoke, and also our father Banji Ayiloge that also spoke, during that interview as well. So we are back again in the studio, and we are just about an hour left before Niger Voices. Let me now talk more about this election. Thank you so much, Kodri 6331 6339 on Instagram. You also say, Rafiu, Baba is saying my mind seriously. Wow, I guess a lot of you are asking the question. Nigeria at the verge of breakup. But do we see countries around the world really want Nigeria to break? Is Nigeria going to break in our lifetime is the next question. A lot of you are asking the question, what do we do? How do we resolve these problems that we are currently facing in Nigeria? The weather is extremely cold outside, and these are some of the reasons why some of our grandmothers, the grandfathers, our uncles, would like to relocate back to Nigeria. But I can tell you, Nigeria is not safe at the moment. If you're thinking of relocating to Nigeria, please plan it well and make sure you do not get caught up. If you are not too sure, stay in your present location. Nigeria is really, really unstable. Even Babangida has traveled out of Nigeria, is currently in Germany. Taking medical treatment, is not returning back to Nigeria until after the election. So you can see that even those that have the no are running away from Nigeria. So if you are of the opinion that you have to travel at this present time to Nigeria, especially as the election is getting closer, maybe you might want to give it a second thought again, because to be honest with you, Nigeria is really, really going through a turbulent time as we speak right now. More Nigerians have got their PVC and they are ready to vote out APC, that has been one of the most useless government that we have ever come through in the history of Nigeria. The President Muhammadu Buhari's government is the most useless. Nothing has worked since Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo came to government, in 2015. A lot of the diaspora were deceived, with the hope that this government is going to work for Nigerians. But today, after, 8 years, which is completely, Buhari, 8 years. Thank you so much all the way in Ireland. You're watching me as well. Thank you so much. The line is still open. The line is still open in case you have something to say as well. Plus 44 is the prefix 7404405917. Keep your comment coming as well. I'll be reading them for the benefit of those that are bringing their comment through all the platforms. Remember that you still also follow Star Radio UK, very, very important, and you can catch up with me every Wednesday. A few weeks back, I reviewed the situation about Buhari government, the failed government of President Muhammadu Buhari for 8 years. Buhari has got 38 days left now. Let us review some of the things that a lot of Nigerians thought Buhari coming in would change the narrative. But what happened is Buhari came in and we have more terrorists in Nigeria. Nigeria is no longer safe. People are being killed on a daily basis, and sometimes it does not even get into the mainstream media, not to talk about the social media. Because the mainstream media in Nigeria have been gagged by the information minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. And Alhaji Lai Mohammed does not want the world to know what is going on outside. So that means that, they will continue to tell you all kind of lies. Thank you so much, Kodri, for your beautiful message there. We love you all as well. And we will continue, the struggle, for the right to Yoruba people for self-determination. We must not give up, as Baba Akintoye say. We must continue to push our message, and we must continue to tell the international community why Nigeria needs to break up. But something came up during the week that I showed you already on our own platform. The American government is building the biggest, I'm not sure whether it's the most expensive, I cannot say, but the most biggest embassy in the world is going to be built in Lagos State. How many people is aware of that? Maybe because we talked about it earlier. Why is the US government spending millions of dollars to build a very big embassy in Lagos State and not in Abuja? Amana says, no more Nigeria, Yoruba Nation now. Blessing Bumi say, Yoruba Nation, no going back. No going back. And I say good evening to those of you that are watching us on all the platforms as I continue to read your comments. Keep your comment coming. I'll be reading them as well. Once again, we appreciate every one of you. Jimmy Koya say, thanks for the great jobs you're doing all the time. Yoruba Nation is not going back. Well, even if we go back, where are we going back to? Because if Tinubu becomes the president, he's going to deal with every Yoruba self-determination campaigner, whether you are in Nigeria, whether you're outside Nigeria. If Atiku becomes the president, he's going to do the same thing. Peter Obi is going to do the same thing. And likewise, Kola Abiola say he does not want Nigeria to break. Kola Abiola wants to keep Nigeria. Let me now ask a lot of Nigerians today, do you think that your PVC guarantee your safety in Nigeria? Yes, Olamilekan, if any of these three becomes the president, one thing you need to understand is Nigeria cannot be restructured under this fraudulent document known as the 1999 Constitution. So if you have the view that Nigeria will get to be restructured, I'm not sure how that is going to happen.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
This is Star Radio UK, and every Wednesday, this is how we run the program from 6 o'clock in the evening up to 8:30, where we look at all the activities, the issues, the headlines, in Nigeria, and we discuss the right of the Yoruba people, the Biafra people, and likewise the Middle Belt that have been killed by the Fulani terrorists operating in that region. I'm going to be looking into, some of the news headline coming out of Nigeria. We already talked about Kola Abiola, but there's still more to talk about as well. Kola Abiola does not want Nigeria to break. He wants to keep Nigeria. I'm not sure why. You must win your polling booth to get appointment and contract, Atiku tells supporter in Ekiti. The presidential aspirant for PDP, Atiku, is now using gimmicks as usual that for me to give you contract, for me to give you appointment, you must first win your polling unit. And the question is, thank you so much. Smart says, I so much believe in this movement. Promised land, God's well, Yoruba Nation now. Thank you so much. And I guess we have a new call that is coming through. Let's go and listen to that call. And I guess this is coming from somewhere in Europe. Hello, caller. You're live on Star Radio UK Niger Voices. Hello,
Mr. Koiki.
Ekale, sir. Ètò nìyẹn.
Nǹkan tẹ́mi orí sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ni pé lórí Kola Abiola ó ń wá relevant ni.
Okay.
Ó fẹ́ wà relevant ni.
Okay.
Nǹkan tí àwọn Yorùbá tọ́dẹ̀ mọ́ sí nìyẹn.
Okay.
Bí ó dàbí ìgbà tí èmi ló kàn ni.
Okay.
Tọ́ sọ pé Fúlàní ló gba leader àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re ó ní where is the cow? Because of what? Because of nǹkan tó fẹ́ dà.
Okay.
Tó máa fẹ́ dà nǹkan tó fẹ́ dà tán wọ́n máa wá relevancy.
Okay.
Relevancy tí bàbá ẹ̀ wá títí náà nìyẹn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó padà mú ẹ̀mí bàbá ẹ̀ lọ nìyẹn. So nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní area yẹn nìyẹn.
Okay.
So nǹkan tẹ́mi kàn máa advice àwa Yorùbá ni pé kọ́lọ́n kó fún wa ní okun àtagbára àtọgbọ́n.
Ọ̀dà.
Everything bá ti ń dàrú káwa náà ká join ká sọ pé nǹkan tá a fẹ́ lélẹ̀ yìí nígbà tí. Because bí olú táìmù Abiola yẹn ń sin nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ period rẹ̀ ni pé tó wáyé pé bí social media ti wà ní tó yẹ pé tó ń jà fún pé kí Nàìjíríà pín everybody wà wí ẹ̀ ní. Nàìjíríà bá ti pín by now. But only few people ló wà wí ẹ̀ only few people ló mọ̀ but things has changed. So that's another upper hand tá a ní. So because this kò sígbà tí wàá lò ní wá sí i. Because Tinubu ti rí pé ó máa lose election yẹn. Because even tẹ́yà bá wo kíní yẹn physically yẹn máa rí pé Àtíkù kò stress rẹ̀ rárá because òun ti mọ̀ pé ìkíní yìí kò tí wọ́n ti fẹ́ ṣe ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ ló máa lọ.
Pẹ̀lú pé APC ló wà níjọba ṣé pé Buhari ò ní sọ́pọ́ọ̀tì Tinubu lẹ́ ń sọ yẹn.
Ojú ayé ni Buhari ń ṣe ojú ayé ni because election tó nǹkan wà ń bẹ̀ Àtíkù ló win ni ẹ̀ so gbogbo ọgbọ́n tó ń dá ó yé wọn dáàsì ní sinmi àtẹ́yẹ́ pé àwọn APC gan sì tán fi lọ wá kúlẹ̀kúlẹ̀ tán ń gbé gbogbo allegation síta and allegation yẹn ń sìn òun fẹ́ kán follow up kán fi ba image ẹ̀ jẹ́ and ibẹ̀ ò dẹ̀ bọ́dà because brother ló wà lórí oyè so gbogbo ìyẹn ló máa snowball pé àwọn jà lérí àbíkan wo selection bíkan àwọn APC ò ní fẹ́ kí PDP dìbò so wàhálà tí ó ń bọ̀ already so àwọn international tó bá wù wọ́n kan dá sí tó bá wọ́n kan má dá sí àwa ní ká wà focus ókè mo fẹ́ ká kà mí ò fẹ́ ká sẹ́ni tán bá dá gbogbo ẹ̀rú fúnra ara wọn àwa máa sọ pé nǹkan táwa ń fẹ́ lélẹ̀ àti dìde before their election so mo lè sọ pé bóyá wọ́n fẹ́ settle ìjà wọn sì nǹkan ní pé kí Nigeria continue we don't want Nigeria to continue we are tired of Nigeria. Contribution tèmi nìyẹn.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni bàbá wa thank you so much fún àǹfààní tó bá fẹ́ dá sí náà kó tó di pé a máa parí ètò ní aago 8:30 ní táìmù wa nílẹ̀ UK ní bíbáyìí thank you so much my brother Okay Ayobami thank you so much for joining us. Great Yoruba Nation, you also put a comment there. Let me quickly go back into some of the news headline coming out of Nigeria. Don't pay charges for deposit of old Naira notes. CBN is telling a lot of you back home. I will secure the unity Nigeria. I will secure unite Nigeria. Peter Obi tells Kaduna supporter. Peter Obi sọ pé òun máa bring unity. Òun á dẹ̀ secure Nigeria. Nígbà tí Buhari ò lè secure Nigeria, Buhari tí kò lè secure Nigeria, a lot of people thought President Muhammadu Buhari coming into the government in 2015 as a former military dictator that also overthrown a civilian government in 1983. The expectation is Buhari, that was as much wicked during that era, was now coming in as a civilian, but a lot of people thought with its expert things would change. But when Buhari came to power, it becomes a death trap to so many people. We now have more Boko Haram operating in Nigeria. We now have more ISIS operating in Nigeria, but there are some people that is funding this kind of terrorism. And those funding this such of terrorism, let us hear what the late Dr. Malafia Obadia told us before he died. Nobody knows what happened, but Malafia died along the line. Let's hear what he had to say then.
We make some revelations because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions,
moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense. So don't joke with what I'm telling you. I have this from the highest possible authority, higher authorities of some of the commanders of the killers and Boko Haram.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Badaya?
No, current.
So, if President Muhammadu Buhari, thank you so much, Okayobami, for your message. Good evening to you. Nuruddin, good evening to you. Yoruba Nation are going back. Elder, do or die. Stop speaking bad words to our father Babakintoye and Sunday Igboho. Yes, for those that are speaking garbage against this individual, only Eledumare, we judge you. Also, a comment came in, and I guess is discussing is relevant to the last caller. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo Adenrele. You also said MKO wasn't looking for relevance as asserted by the caller, rather power. Yes, caller might be. So MKO Abiola was looking for power that he never got, but his son is now saying, should he become the president, he's going to deal with every single one of us. And it's just so sad. Let's come to Peter Obi. According to the headline today, Peter Obi was in London on Sunday. He was in Chatham House on Monday. He met with the Archbishop, the same Archbishop that meets with Buhari. The same Archbishop met with Atiku. I don't know what they discussed, but let us remind you that the same Archbishop was one time, working as a Shell director in Nigeria. In case you don't know, okay, they've become Archbishop now, but he was a one-time businessman. Star Radio UK, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. If you're watching it for the first time, it is.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
It is Star Radio UK. Shout out to all our followers in Libya. Shout out to you if you're watching me in Kuwait, in UAE. Shout out to those of you. For those that are asking, at about 8 o'clock, we'll focus more on the Yoruba Nation and the journey so far and where we're heading to. So don't go anywhere. In 13 minutes or less than that, I will be discussing everything you need to know so far and where we are heading to in terms of the right to self-determination. The struggle continue, as Babakintoye says, and we must not give up. Even if there's fire, we go into it and we get to the end of the fire and we now have safety. But for now, we must not relent. We heard what Malafia said in that broadcast. I am now asking a lot of you. Peter Obi is saying that he will secure and unite Nigeria. Let's take your calls or read some of your comments. How is Peter Obi going to secure Nigeria if President Muhammadu Buhari, a former military general, could not even secure his hometown in Katsina? Buhari is a joke. President Muhammadu Buhari could not secure his hometown in Katsina as the sitting president. We now have Peter Obi coming out to say, I will secure and unite Nigeria. How is he going to do so? A lot of people that are asking that the right of the Yoruba people to self-determination must not be respected. Somebody like, Kola Abiola and the rest of them. If Buhari, the one that is the current president that has about 38 days left before the tenure will expire. When it came in 2015, Buhari promised every Nigerian your safety, your guarantee of moving from Katsina to Kaduna. But today, nobody can travel in the road. Nobody can travel on the train. Nobody can travel on the air. I am now asking Nigerians today, are you sure that Peter Obi can secure Nigeria and unite Nigeria? Are you sure that Tinubu can secure Nigeria and unite Nigeria? Are you sure that Atiku can secure Nigeria and unite Nigeria? Atiku was a one-time vice president under Obasanjo, and the atrocity that Atiku did is the one going in front of him right there. Star Radio UK, Niger Voices, every Wednesday, 18th of January 2023, and the time is just coming up to 19:50 p.m. local time. It's very cold in London. So those that are asking that their PVC will solve the situation in Nigeria, are you sure? According to Pastor G.O. Adeboye, I'm asking the question again. Nigeria, is it at the verge of breakup, or is it going to survive, is the question we're asking. As we continue the push for those of us that want our right to be respected, this is where we talk about everything. How many of you have now joined us on Star Radio UK Twitter? Let's go and look into that. How many people have a Twitter account? It seems that a lot of people don't have a Twitter account. We have not even reached up to 800. That is not very good. How many people have a Twitter account? Let him go and secure Anambra first. Somebody say, Peter, we should go and secure Anambra first. How many of you have a Twitter account? And Peter Obi, Koiki, say how will you secure Nigeria? Peter Obi says he's going to secure Nigeria. This is not me saying that. This is Peter Obi telling us he's going to secure Nigeria. How he's going to secure Nigeria, I don't know. But I'm asking the question tonight for those of you that are watching us. Sorry for those of you that were watching us earlier on our live stream, but you can still watch it on Star Radio UK, and I'm going to share the link for the benefit of those that probably do not know we are still live, because sometimes people don't know that Star Radio UK is still on. So let me quickly, share the link, because somebody just sent me a message. I guess we have a new caller. Who is going to help me tonight? Peter Obi, no man secure Nigeria, Ondema unite. I want somebody to come and help me out. We have a caller going straight from UAE. Hello, caller, you're live. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mute the background here, please. Okay,
bye.
It's much better. Go ahead.
All right. Àwọn tí wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n ti declare Yorùbá Nation, I think etí wọ́n ti là sí nǹkan tí Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá sọ pé tí òun bá di Nigerian president, because I don't know why people are fooling themselves. Ṣé ṣe tí wọ́n rà wọn tó wà ní diaspora yẹn gbogbo àwọn ló ń bá fún mi jù. How can you be in a Western country and someone can just sit down in a conference room and be telling you they declare a nation just like that, and the documents were delivered to President Muhammad Buhari by DHL. Who does that now? People should think now. People should wake up. Yes, people should wake up. Because all I remember when you see Sungo this time around, and the corporation and àwọn èèyàn wọ́n sá fún freedom, wọ́n sá fún ìjà. Freedom ò ń ṣe nǹkan tó máa ń báyọ̀ nínú ilé, no matter how small it is, you have to fight for it.
Okay.
So wọ́n gbọ́ etí wọn dáadáa nísìnyí, and I'm very sure pé ó yẹ káwọn náà kọ́ ti bọ́ síta nísìnyí, wọ́n ti máa bú Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá the way they are abusing Baba Akintoye and Sunday Igboho.
Okay. Bí àwọn ìtì ìrántí pé Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Ẹni tó sọ fún mi pé tóun bá di Nigerian president, ó máa dí òpè ní. So gbogbo yín ẹ̀yin ọmọ àlẹ́ Yorùbá bastard bunch of idiots.
Okay.
Ẹ ṣì keep mute. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣì jókòó síbi àbí. Mo ẹ̀sẹ̀ ní pé ẹ̀kẹ́ ti jáde ń sìn kẹ́ ti máa bú Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá. Ẹ̀yin aláìmoore ẹ̀dá gbogbo yìí.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Thank you so much. Again, Kọ́lá Abíọ́lá is I believe is the first son of the late Chief MK Abiola, and is actually saying that he would deal with the secessionists, the Yoruba people, the Biafra people, and he has also said he would deal with the Boko Haram. Peter Obi wants to secure Nigeria. I will secure Nigeria and unite Nigeria. And I'm asking the question, ta ló máa ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn? Once again, this is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
In your car,
At work.
at home.
On your smartphone.
It is Star Radio UK every Wednesday, and this is how we do it. Good evening to you, our mother, Tony Akinluyi, for joining us on Instagram. Yemi1823, thank you so much, my brother. Happy New Year is my first broadcast on Star Radio UK on Niger Voices in January. If you'd like to join at about 8 o'clock, I will be telling you everything we need to know about the Yoruba Nation struggle. But for now, we are still reviewing a lot of thank you so much, Rashid Abiodun, for your message as well. Keep the message coming, and I'll be reading them out as well as we go into the program. Good evening to you, Oluwaremilekun Princess Adeleye. Good evening to you, Ma, and I believe that's a female. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you're watching me from Germany, good evening. From the Yoruba land, good evening. Security Lori Raw Smart. How is Peter Obi going to secure Nigeria with the fraudulent document known as the 1999 Constitution? Mo bi gbogbo ọmọ Yoruba bí a ti ṣe fẹ́ wọnú the last segment of my program, which is now talking about the Yoruba Nation struggle. Ẹ má relent. Ẹ má fòyà. Ẹ jẹ́ kí ọkàn wa ṣì dé pé ìrìn àjò tí a gbé dání. Okay, I guess I have a caller, so I have to take that call. But when I come back, we will stop the call so that I can pass the message on. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello. All right, we're gonna let that call go because it's not coming through. I'm asking the question tonight for all my listeners around the globe. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá sọ pé èyí tí a ṣe nínú Nigeria or Nigeria, whatever you want to call it, is no longer working for us. Will it not be in the interest of everybody and dissolve the country? But there are some Yoruba people that disagree with us. There are some Igbo people that disagree that why do you want to break the beautiful country that we have all lived side by side? Why? Why not just let us try it one more time? Mo wá ń fi àsìkò yìí mo fi ń rọ gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ Yoruba Nation pé níbi tí a ti báṣẹ́ dé already, níbi tí iṣẹ́ ti dé, kò ń ṣe àsìkò tí a gbọ́dọ̀ fòyà. Àsìkò yóò dẹ̀ ń ṣe àsìkò tí a gbọ́dọ̀ bẹ̀rù. Àsìkò tí ó jẹ́ àsìkò akíkanjú òun la dé nínú ẹ̀. Mo ń rọ̀ wá pé ká ṣe ìta ń pè ní àwa tí a ti sọ pé a fẹ́ lọ. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká tún ṣe iyèméjì mọ́. Ó ti di dandan pé ìran Yorùbá máa lọ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Èyí ò ń ṣe tí wọ́n ṣe máa woṣẹ́ fún yàn àbí wọ́n ṣe máa sọ fún èèyàn kankan. Nàìjíríà tí a ti wà nínú ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù kò ran ìran ọmọ Yorùbá lọ́wọ́, ṣe ni ó ń dá wa padà sẹ́yìn. Mo wá ń rọ̀ wá, mo ń jẹ́ kí ó yé wa pé a sì máa tún máa jáde lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ kó tó di pé election máa wáyé. Nígbà tásìkò yẹn bá máa dé láìpẹ́ láì jìnà, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù, ẹ má jẹ́ ká fòyà. Mo mọ̀ pé ó dàbí ìgbà tí àbá máa sọ pé àbí omi ti tán lẹ́yìn ẹja wọn, fáyìn tí ẹ bá mọ òwe dáadáa, irú àwa ò mọ̀ dáadáa. Àmọ́ mo fẹ́ jẹ́ ká ṣe ọkọ̀ akin. Mo fẹ́ kí ẹ̀yin ìyá wa kẹ́ dúró dáadáa. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ ẹ má bẹ̀rù, ẹ má fòyà. Àwa tá wà níta náà a wà pẹ̀lú yín nítorí pé gbogbo àjọ wà nínú ìrìn àjò yìí ni. Bí bàbá wa Olóyè Sunday Igboho ṣe máa ń sọ pé ìran ọmọ Yorùbá kò lè dé ipò gíga kankan nínú Nàìjíríà ti tèní. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo Tolúlọpẹ́ Arótilé tí wọ́n pa nínú Nàìjíríà. Òun ló máa kọ́kọ́ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ obìnrin tó máa wa helicopter tí wọ́n fi ń pa àwọn Boko Haram àti terrorists kó tó di pé wọ́n pa òun náà sínú naval base ní Kaduna. Abẹ́ ti gbàgbé bàbá wa Délé Gíwá tí Babangida ṣekú pa pẹ̀lú lẹ́tà bomb. A máa ti gbàgbé ìyàwó Fẹlá Aníkúlápó Kútì tíjọba Nàìjíríà jù títí dé ní unknown soldier. Ẹ ti gbàgbé Chief Judge of Nigeria lábẹ́ bàbá wa former president of Nigeria Olúṣẹ́gun Ọbásanjọ́, ìyẹn bàbá wa Uncle Bọ́lá Ìgè. Àìtí mọ ẹni tó ṣekú pa wọ́n. Abẹ́ ti gbàgbé ní èyí tí ó ṣẹ̀ súnmọ́ wa pẹ́kípẹ́kí, èyí tí wọ́n pa nílùú Èkó, Bámiṣé. Àìtí mọ ẹni tó pa Bámiṣé. Gómìnà Èkó ì tí sọ fún wa pé èèyàn báyìí ló pa. Èèyàn ò tí kò fánlẹ̀ lọ́tún pa àwọn ọmọ wa ní Ọjọ́ta. Mo wá ń rọ̀ wá, mo ń jẹ́ kó yé wa pé gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwa la ní, àmọ́ àwọn olóṣèlú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n ò fẹ́ gbà kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó dá dúró. Àṣírí lẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yẹn. Nítorí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé in tó bá ti mú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó dá dúró, nǹkan máa di dọ́gbadọ́gba, ẹ̀tọ́ máa wà fún gbogbo ará ìlú, kò ní sẹ́ni tó máa fi kú lé yín. Kò dìgbà tó bá lọ sí church, kò dìgbà tó bá lọ sí mọ́ṣáláṣí kí àdúrà ẹ̀ tó gbà tíjọba bá ń ṣiṣẹ́. Ìjọba ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú religion, nítorí pé religion ìyẹn fún àǹfààní ti ẹni. Àǹfààní ìjọba ni pé kó dáàbò bo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ǹjẹ́ gbogbo owó táwọn gómìnà ń gbà tí a mọ̀ sí security vote, ǹjẹ́ ó ń kàn yín lọ́wọ́? Débi pé wọ́n ń jí wa gbé, wọ́n ń pa wá. Mo wá ń fi àsìkò yìí mo fi ń sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé the struggle for the Yoruba nation continue. We must not be distracted with so many distractions going on across different parts of the world today. Kò ń ṣàwa nìkan là ń béèrè fẹ́tọ́ wa, àmọ́ ẹ̀tọ́ tá à ń béèrè fún yìí ó ti di dandan pé ká gbà á, àdèmá gbà á ni. Mo wá ń sọ fún wa pé ẹ má fòyà, ẹ má bẹ̀rù. Kò sí bó ṣe lè le koko tó, ó máa dẹ̀rọ̀ náà ni. Àwa la ní síyá àgbẹ̀yìn, ojú ló kán ìbòjí, ojú ló ń kan ni, òun ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Lagos State Governor pé a tún túra mú, à ń padà bọ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Ogun State Governor pé à ń padà bọ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Ọ̀yọ́ State Governor à ń bọ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Èkìtì State Governor pé à ń bọ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Ondo State Governor pé à ń bọ̀. Ọ̀ṣun State Governor pé à ń bọ̀. Ẹ sọ fún Kwara State Governor pé à ń bọ̀ padà. Ẹ sọ fún Kogi State Governor pé à ń bọ̀. Àwa ìran ọmọ aládé Adétán à ń bọ̀. Ó kù díẹ̀ ni. Once again, this is the message to give the encouragement for the benefit of those that are concerned. A máa ṣojú òpó fún 15 minutes láti gba ìbéèrè fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń wà concern lórí ibi tí ìrìn àjò Yorùbá Nation dé. Àsìkò tí ẹ máa lè pè wọlé kí a gbọ́ bí ẹ ṣe ń wà concern, àti pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá ní advice tí kò ń ṣe tí a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ lórí social media, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má mú yẹn wá síbí báyìí. Èyí tí a fẹ́ ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ ìgbìyànjú, ọ̀rọ̀ tí gbogbo èèyàn máa gbọ́, tí a lè sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, àmọ́ a ṣe ń tẹ̀síwájú. Mo kí bàbá wa Gbòógì 1881. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ má jẹ́ ká fòyà, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rù. Ọmọ Yorùbá ó ti di dandan. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò bàbá wa Adéwálé. Mo kí bàbá wa Abdulwahab Ọládìméjì. You also ask what is the way forward. That means you are probably not following the platform, or you are new to Yoruba Nation struggle. As Baba Akintoye said, and I quote, it is still work in progress. As much as everybody wants the nation now, I want it now as well. But the work in progress could mean anything. The work in progress could mean that we will be out again on the street. The work in progress is meaning that we will continue to engage the international community. The work in progress is what we are doing here on Star Radio UK Niger Voices this particular hour. Self-determination is our right, and it will be respected. It is not a crime. And the Yoruba people that have spoken that they want to have their own sovereign independent nation, and nobody will take that away from us. Once again, this is
Star Radio UK.
It is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. We will not give up on this movement. We must not be tired. The struggle for a movement like this will not be the first in the world. The Yoruba Nation now will merge, will come through. But people are asking, how is it going to happen? But one thing is, the Nigeria of today will collapse as the Soviet Union did in 1991. A lot of people ask the same question. How is Soviet Union going to dissolve? Eventually, Soviet Union was dissolved and so many countries came out of it. Once again, my name is Olayomi Koiki, and this is Star Radio UK Niger Voices every Wednesday. As I always say, we must not be intimidated by the media in Nigeria. The Nigerian media, not every single one of them, but the majority of them cannot speak because they've been gagged by the Information Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Alhaji Lai Mohammed have actually told them that nothing that got to do with the Yoruba Nation struggle and the Biafra must be heard on any of the radio station or the TV station in Nigeria. And if should they do so, they will be penalized as well. We must not be deceived. The current politicians are paying influencer, according to the BBC whistleblower that I saw this morning when I was giving my report to Star Radio UK team in the morning. The politicians are paying to the tune of 20 million naira to influencer to give them money and then influence you that Nigeria is going to work. That is about $45,000 or about £37,000 for those that are in UK. Don't be deceived. Thank you so much, Gazalo, my brother, my uncle, for your message. Our strength for the Yoruba Nation, ó gbọ́dọ̀ máa le koko ní gbogbo ìgbà ni. A gbọ́dọ̀ dúró tán. Thank you so much, Olaniwaju Arowolo. From every corner of Yoruba land, we must not give up now, because giving up is going to give us a bad country that we have. Nigeria is not a country. When is known as a country, Toba sọ pé country. Country is people that speak same language. Àwa tí à ń pè wa ní Nigerians. Nigeria is not a country. Germany is a country because èdè ni wọ́n sọ. France is a country, èdè ni wọ́n sọ. Denmark is a country, èdè ni wọ́n sọ. Yugoslavia, Argentina is a country, èdè ni wọ́n sọ. Russia is a country, èdè ni wọ́n sọ. Báwo ni a ṣe wá ń pe Nigeria ní country nígbà tí kò ń ṣe pé èdè là ń sọ? English that was forced and given to us during the British colony is not our official language. Our official language ni Yoruba, but a lot of people now have been deceived that the Yoruba language is not our language, is a vernacular. And for a long time, we were all told we were speaking in vernacular. Nigeria is currently at the verge of breakup. We've been reviewing Nigeria in the next 38 days. Nigeria in the next 38 days. Election or dissolution. What is your take on that? We might come back and repeat this program next week again, or during our sister broadcast on the normal show that we do. But as we go away from tonight's broadcast, I want us all to look at our age. I'm not going to tell you mine, but I'm in my 40. Can anybody that is in the same age bracket with me tonight guarantee that within the next 40 years, Nigeria will be united, the economy of Nigeria will prosper, the security of Nigerians will be there? Can you guarantee, according to your age, if you're in your 70, can you say that in the next 70 years, Nigeria ma da? If you're in your 60, can you guarantee that Nigeria will be great? And if you're in your 30, the same goes to you, and if you're in your 20s. So why then are we deceiving ourselves that Nigeria will be great? Because those that died before us told us that Nigeria will be great. And all we have seen is Nigeria has become worse. And I don't see it becoming a great country within the next 40 years, which is my age bracket. So as I tell those of you that are thinking and dreaming and hoping that Nigeria will become a brand to reckon with, ṣe jẹ́ ká gba Yoruba Nation kó jẹ́ brand tiwa, so that we can have a nation that will speak the same language, as against the one that we are not speaking the same language. Today, we are all speaking different languages that does not represent us. Mo wá fi àsìkò yìí, mo fi ń jẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko pé àsìkò tí iṣẹ́ ṣì wà lọ́wọ́ wa, àsìkò tí a gbọ́dọ̀ relent, àsìkò tí a gbọ́dọ̀ give up, òun ni ó wà níwájú wa. Kò gbọ́dọ̀ sú wa, kò gbọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ wá. Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n náà wọ́n fẹ́ dìbò, àwọn ò sí nínú àwọn tó náà fẹ́ dìbò. Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tó ń sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ dìbò, ìbéèrè tí mo ń bi wọ́n ni pé ṣé ìdìbò yẹn máa fún yín ní intẹ́ ń béèrè fún, àbí èyí tí ẹ ti ń dìbò láti 1999 ǹjẹ́ ó garanti ẹ̀mí yín nínú Nàìjíríà? Ǹjẹ́ ó garanti iṣẹ́ fún yín láti 1999 tó ti ṣe tán ní yunifásitì? Ǹjẹ́ election tẹ́ ti ń dìbò fún ǹjẹ́ ó garanti? Ǹjẹ́ tó bá lọ sí public health center yín, ǹjẹ́ ò ń rí ìwòsàn? Ǹjẹ́ omi gba àdúgbò ẹ kọjá? Ǹjẹ́ security wà fún ẹ? Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ ní ẹ fẹ́ lọ dìbò, ǹjẹ́ guarantee wà fún ẹ? Ó ṣe wò dáadáa pé tá a bá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè, àwa náà máa nílùú tiwa tí àyè máa gbà wá láti lè develop ara wa. Nigeria is not working. Don't be deceived that Nigeria will work. As I say all the time, in just 13 minutes past 8 p.m., Nigerians must now decide what they want. We can already and continue to encourage you. But my question to you tonight is, what more do you need to know? What more do you need to understand to tell you that the country you love so much does not have the same feelings for you? The country you love and appreciate is no longer a country. And that is why so many Nigerians today are trying to japa. And my brother says, capital no. With the 1999 fraudulent constitution, there is no guarantee that Peter Obi will make your life better. Don't be fooled by any of their rhetorics. This is what the politician knows best. Rhetorics telling you that things will be sorted out. But myself and you know that we cannot fix Nigeria. Nigeria is not fixable. The economy situation in Nigeria is becoming worse. And Buhari made it much worse. So if anybody out there hope that one day you would have the dream of a country, you cannot, because Nigeria was not designed to work. Among all African countries today, once again, this is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Are you ready to turn it up? All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
In your car, on the road, on the smartphone. You can download our apps, and let's check again how many people have now followed us on Twitter tonight. Well, it's still pushing. Let's see if we can get it to 800. If you have a Twitter account, let's go into the Star Radio UK right now and then make your tweet. Very, very important that we continue to tweet. Very, very important that we continue, to tell the international community. And the only way you can do so is by also helping us to retweet. If you're watching me on all the other platforms, continue to do so. But remember to go on the Star Radio UK and help us to tweet. As we're coming to the final segment of the program, break up Nigeria now and save lives. The Nigeria you love has failed you and I. This has nothing to do with asking for the right to self-determination. For 62 years, your life has been miserable in Nigeria. Your life is no longer worth anything in Nigeria. And that is why a lot of Nigerians are japa, trying to get to the nearest country, to the nearest border. Benin Republic is also now competing in currency exchange rate with Nigeria. Nigeria is no longer holding. But as you are thinking that 2023 will solve the problem in Nigeria, I am asking you again, are you sure of that? Or you are just being sentimental? Star Radio UK. As we are coming to the final part in just about 12 minutes, let's play this one more music for us, just to remind us that Nigeria that you love does not have the same feelings for you. The Nigeria you appreciate does not respect you. And this is why some of us are saying Nigeria is no longer working. And that music I'm going to play will be one out of my final track tonight. And this is the one that I love so much. I remember Raskimono. Under pressure. Is Nigeria really now under imminent pressure? Can you guarantee that Nigeria will survive all this pressure? I don't know. Maybe you know that you can tell me. Also, how many people remember Andrew no check out Nigeria go better? Do you remember that song? If not, let's go with this one. Raskimono, Under Pressure, Under Pressure. Coming on Star Radio UK.
This is Star Radio UK.
Africa, Africa.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Once again, a very good evening and welcome. As we are now 12 minutes before the end of this segment, it's been one of the most important days as we go into 38 days. What is going to happen? An election or the dissolution? Let's remind the federal government of Nigeria again. As the federal government continue to hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that has been acquitted by the federal government court as well, we are not sure why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still being held in the custody of the DSS. His health is becoming quite alarming, and a lot of us are concerned about his health. But the federal government does not seem to be concerned about the health of Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria, is really at the verge of breakup. Once again, a very good evening and welcome. Good evening to those of you that have joined us, and welcome to the live broadcast on Star Radio UK. Federal government of Nigeria, after the rendition, the kidnap of the leader of the IPOB, the Biafra, from Kenya, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he has been taken to the court in Abuja and he has been found not guilty. Even by now, Nnamdi Kanu should be compensated for being kidnapped back to Nigeria and rendition. But rather, today, 18th of January 2023, as I speak to you right now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still being held in the custody of the DSS. Reason known to the federal government alone. Nnamdi Kanu has been acquitted and discharged. Why holding him back is the question. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released ASAP because we are concerned about his health. So, federal government of Nigeria, don't continue to joke with the health of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As I'm about to end these broadcasts tonight, let me tell those of you at home, we must not be scared of the government. The government knows that the power belongs to the people, and it is only the people that can take charge of what belongs to them. The federal government knows that if we have 1 million Yoruba people on the street, they will not be able to do as much of the evil they've done in Ojota. We must not give in to the federal government. We must tell the government that our right to self-determination will be respected, and it must be respected. As I leave you tonight, let us go back one more time to Raskimono. May his soul rest in peace. He told us that Nigeria is under pressure. Then, I'm not sure if Raskimono saw the vision, because today Nigeria is no longer under pressure. It is really under We are not live on Twitter, but you are live on Twitter on Star Radio UK. This is why I say to you all, register yourself on Twitter. The moment I am live every Wednesday on Star Radio UK, if I'm not live on my own broadcast, automatically Star Radio UK picks up the signal on Wednesday and send it straight to Twitter. And yes, Star Radio UK Niger Voices is live on Twitter. The next track will be Andrew No Check Out to Nigeria Go Survive. Do you think Nigeria go survive in 38 days? I don't know, but all I can say is the self-determination right will be respected, and the Yoruba people are coming back out very soon again. The freedom is no retreat, no surrender, as we continue to say the federal government will respect our rights. It is coming up to 24 minutes past at exactly 8:30. I will hand over back to Archie, then the engineer and the sound engineer and the rest of the people that are working behind the scene. Once again, remember to join me tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock in the morning when I'm going to be joining Archie during the morning section of the program. Andrew No Check Out to Nigeria Go Survive. How many people remember that track?
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Who remember this? Andrew, no check out. I believe this was some 80s. You know, I'm sure those in the 80s, if they're still alive, some of them in Nigeria are suffering. Some of them are regretting that they never left Nigeria when they had the opportunity, when you just have to buy your ticket and arrive in England without no visa. Now, to get a UK visa, wow. How many of you wants to check out? Andrew was told not to check out in Nigeria in the 80s. He was told that Nigeria go survive. Are you sure Nigeria go survive? Oh? Me, I don't know whether Nigeria go fit survive in the next 38 days. The Biafra are shouting, the Yoruba are shouting, the Biluvet are shouting. Ninas is saying that constitution is a fraudulent document. Let's wind it down. Yoruba Nation is unstoppable. Oduduwa Nation, no going back. My uncle say he remember, of course, yes, I remember it then. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó yẹ kó travel níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. Travel, ẹlòmíì oúnjẹ kàjẹ́ báyìí pé tóun bá mọ̀ ni bí ẹlòmíì gbọ́rin yẹn nígbà yẹn tó sọ pé Andrew no check. Make I hear the song properly, I beg. We do not have the copyright to the music. We are just using it for the educational purpose. Shout out to my family. Shout out to all the Yoruba Nation lovers.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
If they burn the oil, do you think that Nigeria can survive in 2023? Even if they drink the oil has been drunk so much. A lot of people had the opportunity to travel out of Nigeria in the 80s, but they thought they were making money. They had the Volkswagen, they had the 504 Peugeot. Some of those cars are irrelevant in Nigeria. All your politicians are driving bulletproof cars. No matter how they try, can you still remain in Nigeria if you have the opportunity to travel out? Are you going to travel out or you remain in Nigeria? Which one will you take? If you have the UK visa, the American visa, the Canadian visa, which other country, the Japanese visa, and you are told to remain in Nigeria, which one are you going to go for? Once again, shout out to all our listeners from different parts of Africa. Our ancestors are now angry with Nigerian politicians. Peter Obi wants to unite us. Somebody's asking, I am tired of the fake promises. I hope you were on the street when people were told to come out and not just on the social media. Is my first. My people are not surviving anymore. My people are now suffering in Nigeria of today. We are just 2 minutes before we check out, and it is the first edition of Naija Voices. My people, are you going to survive? I don't know. If you remain in Nigeria, you will not survive in Nigeria. Once again, shout out to all the teams on Star Radio UK. My uncle said Nigeria is F and already sitting on a keg of gunpowder that will explode anytime soon. Wow. Andrew, don't check out though. In the 80s, they were telling Andrew not to check out. A lot of people now want to japa. Andrew says, say what? I want to go to America, but you're telling me to stay? Okay, Happy Rashid, good evening. We're almost ending the program now. Yes, so as it dey pain them, it dey sweet us. As it dey sweet them, it dey pain us. As it dey sweet us, it dey pain them. Yes, so blood is thicker than water. And this is how far I can go tonight. I have to hand over back to the studio. I say thank you so much, Archie Amon. Remember to follow us on the Star Radio UK. If you're sending email, info@starradiouk.com. I'll be back again same time tomorrow not same time tomorrow. I'll be back at 11 o'clock with the team in the morning. My name is Olayomi Koiki, but tomorrow is the Property Hour. Make sure you join the Star Radio UK team where the Property Hour continue as well. A very good evening, and I say thank you so much to everyone that have joined us so far, and this is how far we can go. I will hand over now to Archie. I say Odaro. Bye for now from me here.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
We'll be back next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. God bless Yoruba Nation. God bless the Yoruba people. God bless the Biafra Nation. God bless the Biafra people. God bless the Arewa. I'm not sure if God can bless Nigeria anymore. It's just too much blood inside. Have a very good evening. Bye for now.
Bẹ̀rẹ̀ fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀ ojú wa dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀ èmi ọ̀pọ̀ olóko aráyé èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá mi ọ̀pọ̀ olóko aráyé èmi ò sọ orílẹ̀-èdè yóò ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá ìlú tán Ọlọ́run fẹ́ lọ lọ́rùn yọ èyí tó yàn ló tún ṣe lọ́kọ̀
This is Star Radio UK.
ó tún yọ wá wọ́n ṣe wá lọ́kọ̀ ó tún wá fà lọ́kọ̀ ní sí.
This is Star Radio UK.
Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá.